Hi guys. So as you guys can see behind me, I have a little picture up there saying how to bleach your hair. Now for those guys who haven't noticed, throughout this year I have changed my hair color quite a bit. As you can see, I am currently rainbow haired. However, throughout the year I've gone from having fire colored hair, I've had split dyed hair with purple and green, I've had just straight red hair, I've had dark red hair, I've had not this year, but in general, I've had blue hair. I've had basically the entire rainbow on my head. Now, a major part of me being able to dye my hair is, well, you're going to have to bleach it if you want the color to be more vibrant. So I'm going to be telling you guys how to bleach your hair. Now, if you guys are wondering, why are you allowed to talk about this? I'm allowed to talk about this because my mother has been doing my hair since I was about 5 years old. She started by putting highlights in my hair, and then when I was about 9, we started dyeing my hair fun colors. So I would also like to preface this by, if you're going to do this, please try to stay away from box brands or box dyes such as Splash, Splash, or Garnier. Those aren't really good for your hair. However, you can use them if you would like. However, if you go into a salon and ask them to go from like a box black to platinum blonde, it's going to have to take a couple of sessions. So please don't be mad if your hairstylist can't take your box dye black to platinum blonde within one session, because that can kill your hair. So today I'm going to be going through things such as the stuff you will need, how to mix the actual bleach up, and then finally I'm going to talk about how to apply the bleach. Now, obviously, I am not wearing a shirt that I would want to have miscolored. So the first thing you're going to need is a shirt that you're willing to have miscolored, get dye on, or just a shirt that you might not wear as often. For example, my family has what we like to call dye shirts that we quite literally wear when we are dyeing or bleaching our hair. Then you're going to need, obviously, the bleaching powder. Now, you can have, this is specifically one of the brands that we use. We prefer to use Paul Mitchell in my house because obviously my mom works at Supercuts, so she works with Paul Mitchell all the time. Then you're going to need developer and then that's probably not what I said, developer and a developer measuring cup. You're going to need this because if you're doing it by yourself for the first time, you're going to want to measure it out. And yes, there are different volumes of bleach. Depending on both how light you want your hair and how thin your hair is or something, you might want to go with a lighter or a lower, I should say. So with 10, as you guys can see on the actual bottles, I did not zoom in, but on the actual bottles, you guys can see that there is little numbers. This is the amount of peroxide that is actually in the volumes. So as you guys can see, in the 40 volume, there's about 12% of peroxide, and in the 10, it's much lower. It's I think 3% is what it said. Now on to other things that you'll need. You'll also need a color bowl. If you're doing highlights, you'll need foils. And no, you cannot just use aluminum foils or tin foil or anything like that. If you go to Sally Sweeties, they'll probably have actual hair foils. You'll need a color brush, a hairbrush, because it hurts if you try and put this through your hair without brushing your hair. It hurts. And then you also need gloves. If you have a latex allergy, I would suggest finding gloves that fit for you or in general are just, latex free. Specifically, we mostly use latex gloves. Now, obviously, now we're going to move into how to mix up the bleach. Now, when it comes to bleach, as I said earlier, you're going to need bleach powder and then a developer. When you are mixing bleach, you need 1 part bleach powder to 2 parts developer. Now, granted, I personally don't know the perfect combination because, as I said, my mother has bleached my hair for all of my life. So she's worked with a bleach, and she doesn't really need the actual measuring cups, but it's still preferred if you're doing it for the first time yourself. You can look up a tutorial online on how to do that. And then you're going to want to put those in the color bowl. And when you have them in here, you're just going to want to mix it up. And then from there, obviously, we're going to work on how to apply it. How do you apply it? Well, first, obviously, before you actually apply anything, you're going to want to put your gloves on. So I'm not going to put them on, but You're just going to put these on because the bleach, if you get it on your skin, it can burn. Trust me, I know. I've had it on my skin before. It burns and it hurts. So before you do anything with touching bleach or anything like that, make sure you wear gloves. Please don't burn yourselves. And then after that, once you have the gloves on, you're going to want to brush through your hair. Make sure it's nice and combed out, brushed out, whatever you want to use, because as I said earlier, it will hurt if you are trying to run through your hair with the end of a color brush or like rat tail comb, which if you guys don't know what that is, it's just basically a comb that has a long handle and it's like thinner at the back. And then after you've done that, you're going to want to take the brush with the bleach on it. Obviously, I don't have any bleach on me because it makes a disgusting smell when you use actual bleach powder. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a thin section of your hair. I'm just going to take about this much of my hair. You're going to take the brush that has bleach on the end, and obviously you're going to have a tinfoil and like gloves on, but you're going to set the tinfoil under your hair, and you're going to basically apply it from like here down to the ends, going back and forth. Do not put it on your roots first. Putting it on your roots first is actually can not only damage your hair if you leave it on for too long, however, it can also, because of the heat that is emitted from your hair, it will make it bleach faster than the rest of your hair. So do from like the ends or like from here down, and then leave your roots for last. After you're done bleaching all of your head, go back through, bleach your roots, blah, blah, blah. And then obviously let it sit for like, depending on what developer you use, it'll be a longer time or a shorter time. Preferably, my family and I stick between about 25 to 30 minutes. But that's normally to either bleach our hair from like a darker color or just bleach out color. But make sure if you are doing this at home, you start at like a shorter time, like do 10-15 minutes, check it, make sure like if you're bleaching like a darker colored hair, check it, kind of like move it a little bit, see if it's kind of bleached. Again, by the way, I spaced about this earlier, do not try to go, I know I said this earlier with like salons, but if you're doing this at home, do not try and go for like a long period of time to bleach your hair from a dark color to a little lighter color, because that can damage your hair. Even if you're using, say, a box bleach or anything like that, that will damage your hair if you leave it on for too long. And yes, my sibling and I have actually had this happen where our hair falls out in chunks if we've had the bleach on for too long or if we had like a too high developer. For example, for me, we have to use like a 20-30 developer for me because I can't personally use the 40 developer because not only does it hurt my scalp, it also makes my hair fall out. So that's not fun. And then, yeah, when you're done, just rinse it out. Make sure, again, you have gloves on because even if you're just rinsing it out, I'd prefer if you guys had gloves on because even if you're rinsing it out, it could still kind of hurt. And after you rinse it out, make sure you dry your hair. And I pray that none of you guys will actually do this at home. Please go to a salon if you're going to get your hair bleached. It's not, unless you have like a professional that knows what to do, please don't do your hair at home unless you know what you're doing because, oh, sweet. There are so many videos I've seen where hair's falling out, hair is like just chunks falling out. It's not fun to see, especially as a hairdresser's kid. But today we went over the stuff you'll need to dye your hair with or bleach your hair, how to mix up the bleach, and how to apply. I really hope you guys learned at least a little bit about both me and how to bleach your hair. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.